Is your recovery stagnant? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Knights of Light. I'm Destry, and today I want to talk to you about, is your recovery stagnant, or are you feeling stagnation inside your recovery? Because I've been there so many times, doing the 12 steps and doing everything I can, but couldn't actually relate like necessarily the 12 steps or what was going on to really gain more momentum in my life. I got stuck in certain situations, certain relationships, and everything because I was looking at it. If where I am now is totally different where I was when I started getting clean. But a lot of people, and I watch and I see a lot of friends, they're pretty much in the same spot where they were 1-2 years clean, and it becomes stagnant, but they keep trying the same thing over and over again. That's almost like when we were in addiction, right? We kept trying the same thing over and over again, hoping to get a different result. Like, oh, I'll only use this much, or I'll only drink this much, or I'll do this and it'll help me quit, or I won't do as much. And we kept trying that until, like me, I found the rooms and it helped, and I went to rehab. But I had to take my recovery to a whole new level. And me and my sponsor did this together. He's also my best friend, Zach. Because we realized, recovery does get kind of stagnant, and then our life kind of just stands still, and we start just being comfortable, because in the beginning we had to learn how to be comfortable in the first place. We had to learn how to be okay. But where do you start to learn, like, to really gain that momentum and get that real spiritual awakening? Because I've heard time and time again, people do the 12th step, but they're still not sure exactly what a spiritual awakening is. And when I started to tap into my soul, like, the first thing I did was I got a soul realignment from two great friends of mine, Dove and Nicole from Twin Flame Revolution. And I mean, my life started to change. I started to understand my soul, and I started to understand where I was supposed to go, even though I was an addict. So I had to take it to the next level. I started to learn in my life that I had this power within me. I had all these things that I could really prosper forward, and I really had to tap into the soul. Because when I started getting clean, it taught me how to be me, and who I was not using, and who I was not drinking, and who I was as actual person. Because I'll tell you, when I was drinking and using, I was not an actual person, right? I was just kind of this shell of a human, this shell of a being. But when I started to tap into my soul and really understand who that was, my life totally changed. I couldn't sit in certain scenarios, relationship changed, people changed around me. And it was really, really interesting when I started to change my energetic being and actually tap into that, how my world around me started to shift. Because I didn't want just that regular life. I was done with just being okay. And I was just sitting there. And like, I know I like talking about my shit, and I still use the principles of the rooms and the principles of the 12 steps, but I had to take it further and tap into my soul. And that's what the soul realignment really helped me start doing. And then I even went into the training to be able to do a soul realignment, to learn how this whole mechanism and this energy work actually worked. Because I'm going to mention a lot of different videos that I'm actually going to tap into and really go into full disclosure in. But like, I just wanted to mention real quick, which will be another video of mine, like, addicts are true light workers, because they're some of the only people on this earth that have experienced their own true darkness. And without darkness, there can't be light. And without your own darkness, your light can never shine, because you never understood what it was like to be in that position. So once we do that, the struggle is next. Okay, we got to get comfortable here. We got to be okay here. We got to learn ourselves, learn how to operate on a day-to-day basis. But then we got to learn how to express from the soul. And that's where I really, truly started to learn who I was, and my recovery stopped being stagnant. Because in this type of work, I started learning constantly. There's something new every day, and I could tap in and learn how to work with myself on an energetic level and change a lot of things inside of me and start to express them out, and especially start to bring them out to the world and to you, and show you how great this work is, especially for an addict. Because once they start to really tap into themselves, addicts are so powerful. And I even stopped calling myself an addict in this situation because I started to transform into a whole new life, and that part of my life doesn't even associate with me, has nothing to do with me anymore. Of course, I help addicts and I help everybody, and I try to really push them into a new realm of being and really express themselves. And that's like my mission, to really help addicts really take their next level of life and their next level in recovery, to show them what their real potential is. Because we have to change a whole bunch of things. A lot of the foundations start to shift when we start to tap into our soul, because now we realize that we have the power. Now we realize that we actually have the power to create our 3D reality. Because when we start to express this, we start to learn, okay, I didn't do too well in the 3D reality, right? I used drugs, I did this, I fucked up a lot, and didn't really know where I was going, didn't know how to tap into my emotional body, didn't understand the emotional body, and really didn't understand my mind, and definitely didn't understand me as a soul at all. So when we step into the rooms, we learn kind of how to operate in this 3D reality. We start to learn what emotions actually are, and then we start to learn, maybe we get our mind under control, maybe we don't. But I've learned there's something in the rooms that's said all the time. That's why I focus on this addiction complex I talk about. Something in the rooms that is said all the time: my first thought is always wrong. I don't believe that anymore. I do not believe my first thought is always wrong. And that's how some people get into, I believe, into a stagnant recovery, because they don't go anywhere, because they're tapping into their intuition and they don't really know it, and they think their first thought is wrong. Like, they can't do that, they can't try this, they can't go forward with this, because they are an addict. That is totally false. We can totally harness our own power and go out there. There's no reason to sit and stagnate and believe that your first thought is always constantly wrong, because after a certain point, it's really not, if you're really doing the work, right? If you're really doing the work and you started doing the work and you're ready to take the next step, your first thought isn't always wrong. Like, that's impossible. Maybe a long time ago it was. First thought was, yes, always wrong. I always wanted to use, I always wanted to do the wrong thing, tap into the wrong things, and I wasn't good in relationships or anything. Because I always made the wrong choices. I didn't follow my intuition or whatever. I just did everything willy-nilly like a shell would. But now a lot of my first thoughts are right. So there's another thing like I'm working on inside this recovery. My first thoughts are right. So what I'm really working on coming out of this stagnant recovery and starting to build towards and helping other addicts get out of that is, how do I use that first thought? Because I thought for so long that my first thought was wrong, completely wrong. So now I had to get to a certain standpoint where now I talk myself out of shit all the time. Like, because I got into a habit of trying to sit there, be okay, and relax, and just be comfortable. But now I'm not comfortable being comfortable, like, because I want to move. I have this urge to grow in my life and prosper and help other people grow and move forward. And now I'm having this issue with talking myself out of literally everything. Anything that would help me grow, anything that would help my business grow, any good idea I had. And that's a real struggle coming out of a stagnant recovery, because for so long I was focused on the first thought's wrong. You really have to sit down and think about this. Now, if I sit down and think about something for too long, I'm going to talk myself fucking out of it. I'm going to talk myself out of it, and then it's not going to happen. Even making videos like this, I will talk myself out of making a video to actually come out there and talk about these things for you. And it's for me, obviously, because I need to talk about these things. But, like, that will drive some people crazy, sitting inside their head for too long, and then eventually, but then you hear the other side of it, like, you get inside your head, you're dead, right? So what do? We really have to start acting on our intuition from the heart space and moving forward and growing from there. and actually using our first thought. Because a lot of times when we start to heal and really start doing the work, especially the spiritual work and doing the clearing and understand what our soul is all about, we start to come from a heart space instead of a mind space, where our heart is actually thinking for us, and it's coming up with all these great ideas. We're getting downloads on this information that we want to express to people, or something that we should really do. And I mean, that's being true and divinely guided now, which is a beautiful space to be in. And that's where I'm talking about this stagnation recovery, and that's where we're talking about moving from a stagnant recovery and getting to a space where you're divinely guided by your soul and by divine source and your spirit guides and everything. Because this spirit work, this soul work, is so healing and so motivational, and really takes us addicts to the next level, because I believe we are so powerful. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining me on this video. I love you all. And remember to always stay woke and continue shifting the paradigm.